The Dallas Mavericks finally made a move that a lot of Mavericks fans have been asking for and wondering when it was going to happen when they fired Nico Harrison in Dallas. Now Cooper Flagg finds himself stuck in the middle of a roster mess. We're talking a little bit about how the Mavs are going to make sense of that. And Joel Embiid is back injured with another knee injury. Plus, Austin Reaves says he does not need the massive money that's on the table. We're getting into all that and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, NBA fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your home and number one spot for everything happening across the league and basketball as a whole. You guys can follow us at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, Nico Harrison has been fired by the Dallas Mavericks as the general manager. He was hired as a general manager in 2021. He did help construct a roster that did reach the NBA Finals, and it seemed at that point that the Mavs should be on a spot where they were taking off and they had a direction. And instead of that, he decided in the 24-25 season to trade Luka Dončić, and then it just completely shattered what was going on there. Now, for Nico Harrison's credit, I'm not going to give him a lot of credit in this episode, but he did build put a championship roster around Luka. And then he decided to trade Luka after building that roster and giving up assets to get that done. And that's what it comes down to. Now, when it's overall the governor of the Mavericks, Patrick Dumont, he quoted a number of things, basically saying that he did not live up to the expectation of what was needed from the general manager. And no crap, right? Now, the one thing that did save the direction a little bit is they lucked up and got the number one overall pick, which allowed them to draft Cooper Flagg, which has added a little bit more direction and added some sense of urgency. But when Patrick Dumont said the results don't meet the expectations, and that was the decision to fire Nico. And now they've moved on from that. But this now puts the Mavericks in this position, in a situation where, what are they going to do? Like, keep in mind that this is a Mavericks team that does not own their first-round picks. They don't own a lot of their first-round picks, and that is a huge kind of a negative place to be in when you're trying to dictate things. Yeah, the Mavericks could go in a fire sale and sell a lot of their assets and try to recoup some picks, but the Mavericks don't have full control over their own first-round pick until 2031. That is the next time that they have full control over their own first-round pick, other than this year's pick in 2026, which could be a pretty nice draft to have your own first-round pick at, especially with the Mavs struggling, where they can still get a great draft pick in there to pair with Cooper Flagg, and then maybe you're off to the races. At this point, my personal opinion on what the Mavericks should do doesn't mean that it's going to be what they will do, but I'm gauging the interest of everyone from Anthony Davis to get Daniel Gafford to even P.J. Washington, who I think P.J. Washington can't even be traded right now until the offseason. I think he's eligible to be traded in March, but unfortunately, the trade deadline's in February, so that means he can't be traded to this offseason. But even then, if P.J. Washington stays around, that's not necessarily a bad thing. He's a little bit ahead of the timeline there as far as the age-wise, but again, he's a player that helped you go on a championship run or run to the NBA Finals. So he's a team that clearly can fit in with some players in the right situations, right? So, when you look at where the Mavs sit right now as far as contracts and them trying to find, you got Anthony Davis, who's making $54 million this year, $58 million next year, and then the last year of his deal where he has a player option, $62 million, right? You got Klay Thompson making $16 million this year, $17 million next year. Daniel Gafford's on a contract that pays out at $18.9 million in 2028-29, the last year of his deal. P.J. Washington is locked all the way into the 2029-30 season until after that season, which, again, you may look to keep him. He's 27 years old. We'll see what happens there. Caleb Martin, maybe a player that can help some teams. We don't know. You're looking at Max Christie, some other players. So Max Christie, I think, 22 years old, you probably keep him around with Cooper Flagg. Derek Lively at 21, you probably keep around with Cooper Flagg as well. But a lot of other pieces could go. And when it comes down to Kyrie Irving as well, I think that the Mavs should kind of work with Kyrie to determine what they're going to do. He just signed a new deal there. But if they're clearly going to pivot and go towards more rebuilding and stacking assets, then do you have a player, does Kyrie want to stay around for that, or does he want to go to another place also? But that's really where I'd be right now. They don't have control of their own first-round pick after this season, so they need to be looking to kind of recoup some of that, and we'll see what happens over it. But long term, the plan is Coop, and that is your timeline is Cooper Flagg, 19-year-old Cooper Flagg. And if you can get one of the guys like Cameron Boozer or AJ DeBasanta or whoever else in this draft and add to that, great, right? That's going to help you as far as having that direction going forward. But without owning your own first-round picks, it makes it a little bit more difficult to go complete blow up unless you're really feeling comfortable in what you're getting back in those trades for picks. So the Mavericks sitting in place now, they're going to have to make a tough decision on what the future of their roster and franchise is going to look like. And I guess we'll see what comes out of that, man. But overall, the Mavericks have fired Nico Harrison, something that Mavs fans have been asking and wondering when was going to happen. And I think around the NBA, you made a move to trade Luka. You got AD back, who is older and less healthy than what Luka has been. And you tried to sell that as something that you felt you were closer to a championship after that move, and you weren't. And it was clear that you weren't going to be. Now, I will say this. I didn't know if I had the Mavs being this bad as where they are so far on the season at only 3 wins at 3-8 on the season. But again, this could be what's best for them this is the last year that they have their own first-round pick. So selling off assets, becoming a worse team, bottoming out, getting another draft pick in there that can really give you, some direction and pair with and find a mate for Cooper Flagg long term. We've seen franchises kind of buy into that, and then it does help them find their direction. But let me know what you guys think down below. A, of the firing of Nico Harrison. B, where do you think this team is going to go with the veterans that they have on this team? When does the fire sale start? Is it this year at the trade deadline? Do they wait till the offseason? Let me know what you guys think on that down below. With that said, one of the players that, people are wondering what's going to happen with is Austin Reaves. He's eligible to sign a 5-year, $241 million contract extension this summer with the Lakers after rejecting a 4-year, $89 million offer in June, right? Now, he did say he's not necessarily focused on maximizing every single dollar, and he does understand what the industry goes on here, right? But, he's maybe willing to sign for a little bit less than what that max is for him. And I think that, if Austin Reaves, not to say if he wants to stay around, I don't think the Lakers at 8-3 on the season, they've been really surprising considering how much time that like Luka has missed and stuff like that. Reaves is having himself a great season averaging over 30 points per game. He is 5th in the NBA in scoring right now, 9 assists, 5 rebounds. And so, he's having a great season right now. And it's definitely going to command some huge money. And as the Lakers are looking to kind of move on from the LeBron era and now figure out pieces that fit better around and with Luka Dončić, which they should be doing anyway, Austin Reaves is going to factor into that. And I think even the Lakers are in a spot right now that even if they did have some questions about that, you're probably going to lock in Austin Reaves regardless and then maybe look to move him later down the road if you need to, right? Again, that's if. I'm not saying that they will, because at the end of the day, if you can find and have 2 players in Luka and Austin Reaves on your team that you're building around, and how many more pieces you figure out are more of those guys that you can build around as well, that's what you want. And that's what is going to be good for you. And for what it's worth, when Luka and Austin Reaves are on the court together, they played 131 minutes together this season. They have a plus-minus of +40, a net rating of +2.4, an offensive rating of 131, and a defensive rating of 118, which isn't great by any stretch of the imagination, but you find that right center to pair with those guys, they could be much better than that. They play with a pace of 96, which isn't a crazy pace at all when it comes down to it. But this is a team that you look at. They have a true shooting percentage with those 2 guys on the court of 65.5%. So there's enough signs encouraging that those 2 guys are going to figure it out together. And if Austin Reaves is willing to take less than his max, which gives you a little bit more runway and leeway to continue adding to that team, that's really what you want from that situation and scenario. And let's see if they can get it. But let me know what you guys think down below. How much of a cut does Austin Reaves take to help the Lakers stay whole and keep that him and Luka together? And then do you think that it's viable for them to really find themselves, that spot that they want to be in and really be competing in the Western Conference? All right, last topic of the day before we get out of here. Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid, man. While there's been some concerns over Joel Embiid's health, there's been concerns about what he's been on the basketball court. He is going to be out in this game. Embiid, for what it's worth, has not played over 26 minutes in a game and will not play in any back-to-backs this season. We already knew that, right? But after already coming off an extended rest period as well, not playing against the Detroit Pistons on Sunday, he's already been ruled out for today's game against the Boston Celtics with labeled of right knee soreness. This is a problem, right? When you look at it as well, the added concern around it comes because of the suddenness of it. Embiid went from being a player that, they ruled him out for this game. But this was after that he was evaluated by doctors for ongoing right knee soreness as well. That came from Mike Soto of Hoops Hype. And right now, there isn't a clear timeline or a clear even thing that's going on with Joel Embiid. The question that I keep bringing up, and I've talked about several times on this channel so far this season, comes down to this. Joel Embiid is already not the 76ers' best player anymore. He's not their leader. He's not what they're built around. They're not the best when he's on the basketball court. All these things are evident and true, and you can't deny them. And the Sixers that started off red hot and are 6-4 right now on the season, this is a team that if you make the right moves, they can get some stuff done and find and pick their direction. Now, I don't think anybody takes Joel Embiid. I really don't think at this point anybody's going to take Joel Embiid. I just don't think so. And maybe I'm wrong on that, right? So even if you're doing that, you have to still try to find a way to move in a direction that you can get it, that you can continue to grow as a team. And that's what it seems like they're doing. The wings that they have there between VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey, Quentin Grimes giving them good minutes, right? Even Kelly Oubre Jr. giving them some solid minutes. Jared McCain's come back. All those things stacking up for this team. The question when it all comes down to it is, what does this team look like? And can you continue to wait for Joel Embiid to be healthy? And are you throwing off what this team could build as far as the dynamic wise with waiting for Joel Embiid? He's played 140 minutes so far this season. They have a slight plus when he's on, a +9, a net rating of 0.4, so it's not at least negative. They have an offensive rating of 127 when he's on the court. But then when you look at when Joel Embiid is off the court, that's when you really see that this team is playing extremely well without him. +30, a net rating of +5.3, an offensive rating lower at 119, but also a better defensive rating. This is a team that's at a crossroads right now on what to do with the player that they were originally built around. And this is a difficult spot that we've seen teams in before, when you have to move off the player that was supposed to be what you were building around. But they have this guy in Tyrese Maxey who's playing at an MVP level right now. He's playing excellently well. He's actually leading that team. And while you got to strike some balance there and figure out some other things, it could be time at the time where Joel Embiid is the 76ers' best player is done. Now, is his time with the roster done? That's the question, and we'll see how that leads as the season goes on. But that's my time for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. And as I like to end every show on, stay locked in, stay hoop ready, and I'll catch you on the next one. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.